Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Avi. How are you all doing today? Always interesting things when I do that. And you notice there's that little gap where my vocal cords, they just stopped for a moment. Interesting. Good morning, Joylana. Joliana. I'm glad you're here. Good morning, Salty Bish. Good morning, Niadzeni. You think I have great hair today? That's great. I was nervous about it. I did not like the way it was looking today, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it to make it passable. I guess it's passable. Good morning, everyone. I'm doing pretty well today. I woke up a little bit congested. The season is changing. I had to close my window when I was sleeping, and I'm a little bit allergic to this room. I have a dust mite allergy. So I'm a little bit congested and a little sleepy. I had a long day yesterday. It was raining. I was dumpstering. While I was cleaning potatoes, I got stung by a wasp. And then I was very grumpy for the rest of the evening, and I went to bed early, and then I slept in. So I'm well rested. How's the mushroom tea? The mushroom tea is a little weak because it's been sitting in a crock pot being rebrewed over and over and over again for like 3 weeks. We brew the tea until it's basically water, and then we replace it. Yes, I am Jewish. Yeah, I'm Jewish. Let's do some Jewish things. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a matter of, like, if I'm gonna be better soon or not. Like, I have allergies. They come and they go. And, my breathing is basically fine. So. No, it's not all coffee. It's chaga. Hi, Scorpion. So we're going to start with the book of Deuteronomy with a prayer called Shema. And Shema means listen in Hebrew, and this is without a doubt the most often repeated prayer in Judaism. And I assure you that right now, somewhere else in the world, some other human who I will never meet is saying these words along with us. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad, are one. So this is a statement of monotheism. Not the first ever written, but probably the most influential. Listen, Israel, all is one, like a serpent that eats its tail. So Historically, narratively, these words were written down at a time when the Jewish people were trying to codify their identity. And maybe that was when they were wandering through the desert in Egypt. Maybe it was after they were returning from the Babylonian exile and needed to re-establish their orthodoxy. What those words have meant over the course of 3,000 years of history has changed a lot. But what I usually like to focus on is this syncretism of names, right? The original text says, Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad, listen Israel, Yahweh and El are one. These two Canaanitic deities from north and south, they are actually one deity. They are fused, right? So it was a prayer about connection. Hello, Snuggle Poo. I'm glad you're here. Hey Lola Bunny. This outfit was a gift. This came from my mother-in-law, who was traveling in India, and got me this dress. This dress fits me better than probably anything else I own. I don't wear it often because it's special, but I'm wearing it today, and I really like it. Yeah. So, after the Shema in the book of Deuteronomy, we have another prayer. And this prayer is called the V'ahavta. And the V'ahavta is a set of instructions. It's sort of a religion in 6 lines or whatever. It sort of contains the core practices that are required to be Jewish, I suppose. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but I think it's really interesting because it never mentions God, and it's really about memetics. It's a prayer about memetics. I'm glad you liked that newt. Wasn't he a cutie? Yeah, he was pretty cute. So, let's recite the V'ahavta, and then we'll translate it, and we can see what we can glean from these very old words that we are speaking together. Good morning, Sandra. V'ahavta et Anat Elohecha u'v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odeyecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'vitecha v'lechtecha havaderech u'v'shachbecha u'v'komeyecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadeyecha v'chayu letotavot b'neineyecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharechecha. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, V'ahavta means, and you shall love, right? And we can sort of take that as the first part. Like, all right, so if we're going to interpret this prayer as a rubric for Judaism, what do you do to be a monotheistic Jewish person? You don't need to be monotheistic necessarily. I'm glad you enjoyed my videos, Crystal. Good morning, Surfer Girl. So, V'chaya ki v'yachayu Elohecha. No, that's the wrong one. V'ahavta et Anat Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. Right, so that's the first instruction. The first instruction is to love, right? Who knows what loving is, but that's the first instruction. And what comes next? V'ahavta et Yahweh Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. Take to heart these instructions which I charge to you today. Take to heart, right? So, love God. Take to heart these instructions. And what are the instructions? Well, these words that we've just been saying, right? Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. This prayer doesn't talk about God. First line, there's, all right, you got me. That's true. That's true. All right. Sometimes I contradict myself. Sometimes I'm incoherent. And that's the nature of it. But the thing about this prayer is that largely what it's about is these instructions, right? So this take to heart these instructions that I charged you today, and then what? Well, impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. You shall bind them as a symbol on your hand and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house, mezuzot, and on your gates. Do you think we should bring slaves back? No certain race, gender, or religion, like prisoners at work. I don't think we should bring slaves back, although there are still slaves in the world. Could I do a hair routine? I do have a hair routine video. You should look in my archive. I think it's called like morning shower or something, but there is a video where I talk about how I do my hair. What does the serpent eating its tail mean? I'm new here. Well, we're talking about a prayer that symbolizes it, right? So this prayer contains itself, if you will, right? The prayer says, copy me. It says, hey, these instructions, teach them to your children. Say them when you lie out. When you are out, say them when you are at home. Bind them as a symbol on your hand. Let them serve as a sign on your forehead. Right, so mezuzot. You heard of mezuzah before? Probably not. Here, let me show you this mezuzah. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. There's the mezuzah. So this mezuzah here, which you will find in most Jewish homes, contains the words that I've just said, right? So the mezuzah literally contains the prayer. So the prayer, the meaning of the prayer contains instructions that ensure that the prayer continues on, right? And I take that to be symbolized by this very old religious symbol here called an Ouroboros, right? The Ouroboros contains itself, and yet it is not undermined, right? So sometimes I talk about how the relationship between the prayer text that I'm saying and the prayer sounds that I'm making is the relationship between genotype and phenotype, right? The prayer is self-referential. That's called a circle. Yes. The prayer is self-referential, just like all living creatures on earth are self-referential, just like how there is a you in your mind that is referring to your entire body and your whole totality, even though that you lives just in neural activity, right? So we have symmetry across scales, and life contains itself. I'm sorry that you're having trouble with Discord. I'm glad you like my hair and my words. That's great. You're so confused. Stick around. Maybe it'll make a little bit more sense in a little bit. Okay. So is the Jewish religion not opposed to transgender lifestyle? Well, I don't think the Jewish religion supports or is opposed to anything, right? You can talk about different interpretations. You can talk about certain flavors of Orthodoxy or certain flavors of modern Judaism, and every Jewish person is going to have different opinions about these issues. We are not a monolith, and so you can't really say much of anything about the Jewish religion. But the Judaism that I practice is not opposed to transgenderism. We'll leave it at that. Good morning. Good morning. So these are words from the book of Deuteronomy, and they come in 3 parts, and we've done 2 of them. So the first part is the Shema, which is the statement of monotheism. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, all is one. Right? And then after that, we have the V'ahavta, which I just went over. And the V'ahavta says, copy me. Say, all is one, over and over and over again. Say it. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Asher Echad. Say it again. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Asher Echad. Right? And if you say these words over and over and over again, if you meditate on the totality of all, maybe it will help you find peace in your place in the all that you are a part of. That's the hope. What is the Judaism I practice? Well, stick around. This is it. Right now we're reading from the book of Deuteronomy. And there's one more piece from this. We're in Deuteronomy chapter 6, and there's a little bit more. And this next part is more political and more self-aware of the historical context that it finds itself in. Less metaphysics, more politics. So we will read this one next. It goes like this. V'chaya, ki v'chaya Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai levotecha, le'Avram liYitzchak u'Yaakov. לתת אברים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית, ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת, וברות עצובים אשר לא הסרת, כהרים בזיתים אשר לא נטעת, והלכת ושבת, הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תשכחה מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Eretz Mitzrayim mibet avadim, the house of bondage. So what is the house of bondage? Right? I mean, so literally, I suppose it is referring to the land of Egypt, but metaphorically, it's simply talking about oppression in general. The house of bondage is oppression, right? And so what this prayer is saying is that when you are appreciating the good things in your life, the vineyards that you did not plant, the olive groves that you did not plant, the house that you did not build, the great and beautiful city that you live in, that was there before you, when you appreciate all of those good things in your life, remember that they came out of the house of bondage, right? They are a product of that pattern. And you might go back there one day, right? So the political context of this is that the Torah is recognizing that the Israeli state is an occupying state, right? That it occupied land that used to be lived in from other people. And that soon, over the course of history, the land may be occupied again by some other group of people. And we can recognize these cycles of land theft and just be aware of them, right? I live in Oneida territory. I drink from a spring, comes out of a spring box that I did not build. I've got some grapes ripening on my vine right now, but I didn't plant that vine. Right? We all live and have inherited things which are not strictly ours. And if you reach back far enough in history, you will find that their origin comes with a certain amount of violence. The Jewish Bible keeps Yahweh in their translations. The majority of Christian Bibles remove it. Well, it depends on what you mean by keeps Yahweh, right? Like if I have this text right in front of me right here, right? And if you look at the Hebrew and you literally pronounce out the letters, like you've got Vav, He, Yud, He, which if you pronounce them in Hebrew, you would pronounce Yahweh. The norm is that you don't say Yahweh, you say Adonai or you say Hashem. But I choose to say Yahweh because I want to be able to speak not only of Yahweh, but of the other gods that lived with Yahweh in ancient times. So why don't I sing about a couple of those gods now? Maybe it'll make a little more sense. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. I did. Right, that is a prayer that is spoken by Orthodox Jews every day. And they don't say the word Yahweh, they say Adonai. But I think it is only the character of Yahweh that would choose to not make me a woman. Right, and so I have to balance that out. I need to balance that prayer. And I'll balance that with a prayer to Asherah. Right, so we can do that one now. Baruch atah Asherah, Anat Malecha Ha'olam, Asher Yitzaret Ha'adam, B'chachama U'vara, Oh, I repeat the name of Ashra Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. So this is a replica of Ashra. There are many figurines like this that were found all over the Eastern Mediterranean, dated to between 3,000 and 4,000 years ago, right? Back when the goddess still had a place in the people's understanding of the divine. Here's another image of her and Yahweh. Right, this inscription here reads Yahweh and his Asherah. So if we look back into the earliest origins of Judaism, what we see is polytheism. And yes, there's strong metaphysical claims about the unity of God. In fact, I was just reciting some of them, right? Shema Yisrael Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad, right? Saying that all the gods are one. But in order to say that, you first have to come out of a history which claims that there are multiple gods. And I think we can learn something about the world that we are in by thinking about the character of these different gods. Someone asked earlier if I could sing I Don't Want to Pray, and I will. I'll get to that. There's a sequence that I like to go through, but that prayer sort of is the next step of recognizing that none of these gods are actually anything more than syllables. They're nothing more than characters. And if we're comfortable with that, if we're comfortable with them being nothing more than characters, then when we sing to them or when we sing about them, we can maybe more accurately or actively meditate on what those characters are and what they represent and how they might impact us and our lives, right? There are limitations to trying to imagine the totality of all, and sometimes it's more helpful to imagine, a patriarchal king who has given us the oppressive political regimes that we live in today, or sometimes it's easier to imagine a divine mother who both kills and brings life in the same breath. So let's sing a song about that. This song will be in English. This one will be in English. This is a Leonard Cohen song. It goes like this. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh, some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon my altar, and I'll hoist my axe again. And I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and pain was just a man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. Space Cowgal. You don't get what happens here. Neither do I. I'm still flummoxed by what happens here. So what I can tell you is that every morning I say these prayers, because these prayers have personal meaning to me. And every morning I try to explain the meaning of these prayers to others, and every morning I fail. Because what they mean to me is not what they can mean to you. And what I think we are doing may not be what others here think we are doing. And so as this little community is solidifying, I am constantly asking, every morning I'm asking, what is it that we are doing here? What is it? And it's not a question that I can answer. It can only be answered collectively. It can only be answered by action. So we have a Discord server. We're going to have breakfast on the Discord server in just a little bit. You can find a link to my Discord server in my bio. And we hang out together. We try to be humans with one another, and much else besides, but that's one way of describing it. This morning I have a cat with me. Would you like to see my cat? Oh, she's very sleepy. Hey, cat. Oop. Hey, you. You want to say hi to the camera? She's not going to look at the camera. There she is. Mama cat. Yeah, I really shouldn't have her in this room because I'm kind of allergic to her, but she, as the weather gets colder, my room is very warm because it's full of lights and electronic equipment, so she tends to gravitate here. You thought you could hear someone breathing in the background. Yeah, that's my cat. That's my cat. Good morning. Have a great day yourself. So, now we're going to switch languages. We're going to switch into Sanskrit. I'm drinking chaga tea. It's a mushroom tea. I like it very much. I added a little bit too much maple syrup today, so it's quite sweet. It is 10 in the morning. What time is it for you? Any remedies for low energy? Sleep. Sleep. If you are low energy, get more sleep, please. So, this next prayer is from the Shivananda yoga tradition. So Shivananda was a Hindu guru who sent his students to America to start religious institutions. One of them was called the Shivananda Yoga Ashram, and I spent much of my childhood there. And I learned some of their prayers. So this is a prayer for pranayama practice, and I will be doing pranayama practice on my Discord server soon. As soon as I get some videos published. Right now I'm working on a bunch of Patreon content because I'm going to be publishing a Patreon page very soon. Then there will be a paywall behind the Discord. And once there's a paywall behind the Discord, or in front of the Discord rather, I need to offer something of value to the people in the community. So I'm going to start teaching pranayama classes and other such things on my Discord server. So you should join the server if you are interested in stuff like that. We're going to have breakfast there in a moment. And I think it's probably going to be another week before I launch the Patreon, and then there will be a paywall in front of that server. So now is the time to join if you don't want to pay $5 a month. So, this prayer is in Sanskrit and is in preparation for pranayama. So anyone asks, Sanskrit is the language. I bathe every other day. Some people, questions they ask. Kajananam Bhuttaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshitam Ummasitam Sakabinasakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Sadananam Kunkumaraktavarnam Mahamatim Divyamayuravahanam Ridasyasinam Sarasananatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Sarahadavala Yasubravasvarita Yavinavarandamanditakara Yasveta Padmasana Yabramachuta Sankara Pratrapi Deva Vasata Pujita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nihi Sajadyapaha Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shishivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudeva Nandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om I salute the three-eyed Divine Mother Narayani, who brings auspiciousness and fulfills desires. Take a deep breath with me. Let's make one more tone. And then we will recite the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Okay? Good morning, Wednesday. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I know who you are. It's nice to see you. Triambakam yajamahe Sugandim pushtivardhanam Urva Rukami Babandanan Mrityur Mukshya Mamritatum Trayambakam Yajamahi Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urva Rukami Babandanan Mrityur Mukshya Mamritatum Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urva Rukami Babandanan Mrityur Mukshya Mamritatum Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashid Dukhabhagbhave Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityur Mamritam Gamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti 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 Om peace, peace, peace. I did draw this. It's with Sharpie. It's a tree of life. That outer world is full. This inner world, in my mind, is also full. From fullness comes fullness. Taking fullness from fullness, fullness remains. Om peace, peace, peace. I am sorry that you are confused. I tend to have that effect on people at first. Just stick around. It'll start to make sense. So those prayers were from the Shivananda tradition, which is a branch of Hinduism. And the language they were in was Sanskrit. And we're going to do one more Sanskrit prayer and one more Hebrew prayer and one more English prayer. This English prayer is my favorite. It seems to be most people's favorite too, because it gets requested. It's the only one that gets requested. It's called I Don't Want to Pray. And I think that this prayer is quite essential in order to sort of justify and explain the rest of the mantras that we do. Because it more accurately reflects my actual theology or religious beliefs than most of the others that we recite, where I will appreciate some aspects, not so much others. Right, so this is a song by an American musical group, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. I'm sure many of you have heard some of their music before. Right, they're a pop group. It's a prayer about praying and about what it's really for, and it sort of refutes the idea that prayer is trying to gain something, right? Or that prayer is to someone, right? I don't want to pray to my Maker. So as I recite this prayer, I would love to hear from you all, those of you who are confused about what it is that we're doing, or those of you who are here regularly, here every day. What is it? What is prayer? How does prayer fit into your life? I don't want to pray to my Maker, no. I just want to be feeling free. Not just who I am, but the pink in golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to lock it, walk it, woo-hoo. Not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, Mom. What I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher made good. And Anat, Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my maker. I just want to be what I see. Not like in a book or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No. Pardon, God and Mom. What I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asherah made good, and Anat made bad. Elohim made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except that is fiction. None of those gods exist except in our minds. And in reality, I made myself. I made me. Or perhaps, more accurately, we are making one another through every interaction. If you're not praying to our Creator, who are you singing to? Are you saying, I love Allah? Well, who is Allah, right? Allah, we can say historically, is the God of Muhammad, right? But the theology around Allah basically claims that Allah cannot be represented, right? Cannot be imagined, that what Allah is so transcendent and total that it's not even worth it as thinking of them as anything, right? Right? That's the prohibition against idolatry, right? Just words, just symbols. I don't want to pray to a word that means only not a thing. Right, so I can say, I love Allah, and I can say, I don't want to pray to a word that means only not a thing. And that's the thing about Allah, or Hashem, right? Hashem literally means the name, right? I don't want to pray to a word that means only not a thing. The idea of God in the The idea of God in the Abrahamic traditions has been so abstracted as to basically mean nothing, right? And there's theological power in that, and there's also a kind of absence, right? I don't want to pray to an abstract idea. And I don't think that I was created by an abstract idea. I think that the humanity that I am a part of, collectively, created these ideas for itself, for ourselves. And furthermore, if I'm going to wonder about creation, if I'm going to wonder about who I am, who is this character that I am performing for you right now? Well, I couldn't perform this character if you all weren't here. My existence is contingent on your existence. We are connected through this screen, and I would not be the same without you. So, did Allah make me? Maybe. But, I think we're all doing a lot of heavy lifting. The hurt is prevalent today. What do you mean, Allison? So, now we're going to say one more prayer in Sanskrit. We are all doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like, I say this often, but I don't think I can emphasize it enough. Like, I could not be this person without all of you, right? Like, I would be someone else. You all give me the opportunity to perform. You give me the opportunity to express myself in a certain way, to try to become a kind of person who otherwise I wouldn't have the chance to become. And it's a really remarkable gift. And it makes me think quite a lot about the nature of the self and what it means to be a person. So I have a couple more prayers. We're going to do Arti, we're going to do Kaddish, and then we're going to shift over to the Discord server. If you'd like to join us on Discord for breakfast, you can find the link in my bio. And we'll have a nice time there. In about a week, I'm going to be publishing my Patreon page, publishing some videos about that. And then the link to Discord will no longer be in my bio. It will be inside Patreon, so you have to become a patron in order to access the community. And then we'll be doing more community things, and I'll be putting more labor in over there, right? So who I am and the things that I do, the way I spend my time, the things that I put my attention toward, they are structured and guided by you all. And that is quite a funny thing. Quite a funny thing. And so I love hearing from you, and I love knowing, what it is that you want to see, what kind of community you want to be participating in, and we will build it together. And I think that's great. So, Arati. The word Arati means flame in Sanskrit. So this is the concluding prayer for the Shivananda Kirtan, which is a daily prayer service. And so we have our little flame here. Arati is light. You're pretty new here. Just wanted to tell you how much you love watching. That's so great. I'm glad that you enjoy what I do. It makes me feel really good to know that. So this prayer is very simple. It's long, and often at the end of the stream I get a little reminder from TikTok like, hey, remind people to like your video because the algorithm. So it's long, but the structure is pretty accessible because every verse begins with the same words. Jaya Jayarati. Jaya Jayarati. We wave the light. Jaya Jayarati. Then we'll repeat various names of various gods. Some of them will be Hindu, some of them will be Abrahamic. We'll repeat the name of these various gods, and that will be what it is. And by saying the names of so many gods, we are reminded of the things that they have in common, just as we're reminded of the ways in which they're different. All of these different stories, but they all refer to the same basic, unified thing. So, Arati. Let's begin. Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jayarati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankatarana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutri Avatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shri Rama Priyaye Jaya Jayarati Ayappa Samine Ayappa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, Jaya Jayarati Muhammad Gurave, Guru Nanak Gurave, Samastya Gurubho Namaha, Jaya Jayarati Venugopala. The language is Sanskrit. The tradition is Shivananda. Om Natatra Suyobati Natandra Karatam Nimavidyobati Kutoyamagni Twameva Bantamabandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Sudikaveri Namastitam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, nor stars, nor lightning. So from where does the light come? When that shines, all shines after that. By its light, all else is lit. Om, peace, peace, peace. Twameva mata chapita twameva, twameva bandusha saka twameva. Twameva vidya jaminam twameva, twameva sarvam mama deva deva. Kayena vacha manasendriyarva, buddhyatmanava prakriti sabhavad. Karomyadyad mangalam parasmahi, Narayana iti sarmar payami. Sarvadharmam pravichayam amikam saranam vraja. Aham sva sarvapapayo mokshayami masucham. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here today. So, people ask me what religion this is all the time. And it is not a simple answer. Like, I answered the question. I said this comes from the Shivananda yoga tradition. I've actually said that like 7 or 8 times in this stream. And I understand that folks come in and folks come out. They don't necessarily hear everything that I say. But I don't... The concept of religion is itself fraught. Like, what religion am I? What gender am I? What are my pronouns? People come into this space and they want to categorize me. They want to say, oh, that is a Jewish trans woman. And sure, you want to categorize me like that? You can. I'm a Jewish trans woman. But that doesn't actually quite fit, right? None of those labels actually quite fit. And I understand as you're scrolling through TikTok and you're comparing me to several thousand other internet personalities that you want to be able to quickly categorize me in what we're doing here. And that's fine. But I hope you recognize that it's more complicated than that, right? And that the universe resists categorization. Is it a placenta behind me? Maybe. If you want it to be, it is. It's a fractal branching pattern. It's a fractal branching pattern. It's a tree of life. It's a tree of life. Nothing is black and white. What about Islam? What about it? So, I have one more prayer for you today before we have breakfast. I like this top too. Placenta represents the tree of life for women that grow it. Yes. You've watched a lot of my videos and you think I'm beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Can I explain the community I live in? Amanda, yes, I would be happy to talk to you about the community I live in. I think that would be a better conversation for Discord. In the past, I have talked a lot about the community I live in while I'm eating breakfast, but I'm shifting to doing breakfast on Discord for the community there because those are the people that I have the strongest connections with. Right now, the Discord community is free. It will not be in a week or so, and so I try to, I'm trying to create a structure that can allow for deeper engagement and value creation for everyone. Women aren't always gifted with a female body. No, sometimes we have to grow it ourselves. A virtual embrace. Well, thank you. So, yes, I would love to talk to you about my commune. Join my Discord server, and we can chat about it over breakfast. Yeah, so I've got one more prayer. We're going to do Kaddish. So this is a prayer of mourning for all those people who died yesterday of coronavirus and all other sources of death and suffering. So if there's anyone that you would like to say Kaddish for, please put their names in the chat, and we can think of them together as we recite this prayer. So the word Kaddish, kadosh, in Hebrew means holy. And it has a very long etymological root. There was a goddess in the city of Katesh named Katesh. And of course, in the story of Isaiah, he sees angels flanking the throne of Yahweh, and they're chanting Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. You'd love to say for your sister Melissa and your dad and all the soldiers. Yidgadal v'yidgadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma dirachyute v'yamlich malchute b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayede kol beit Israel v'gala u'bizman kariv v'yamru. Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah meva'arach li'alam omei omaya yidbarach v'yishtabach v'yidba'ar v'yirmam v'yidnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha baruchu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata t'yamiran v'yama v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru, v'imru, amen. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here with me today and saying these words with me today. It is a profound gift. So, that was in Hebrew, Harry Hippie. They're hippie. That was in Hebrew. So, I'm going to have breakfast now. I'm going to take off this prayer shawl. I'm going to shift onto Discord. So any of you who would like to join me for breakfast on Discord, we will be having a nice chat there. I will leave TikTok open for a little bit to get my breakfast going, and then I'll turn it off, give you a chance to find how to join Discord and to sign up and do all of those things. Runs to Discord, yep. Alright, so